If someone shows these 10 signs, their feelings for you are out of control. Old Stoic wisdom. Have you ever caught someone looking at you just a second too long, or noticed the way their mood shifts when you're around? It's not always grand gestures or poetic confessions that give away deep emotions. Sometimes it's the subtle patterns, the small, almost invisible tells that reveal when someone's feelings have crossed a line. In my years exploring Stoic philosophy and emotional behaviour, one principle keeps echoing. What is felt deeply is rarely said plainly. The human heart often betrays itself in action before words ever catch up. If someone's feelings for you are slipping beyond their control, you'll begin to notice a shift. Their emotional centre becomes unbalanced, vulnerable, impulsive, and sometimes even obsessive. These aren't signs of fleeting interest. These are indicators of something that's taking root, whether they're ready for it or not. Today, I'm going to walk you through 10 powerful signs that someone's feelings for you are no longer casual. Most people miss these clues because they're quiet, understated. But once you recognize them, you'll never unsee them. So stay alert. If someone in your life is showing even a handful of these signs, their emotions may already be running far deeper than either of you realize. 1. Their eyes are never still because they're always searching for you. They may not even be aware of it, but watch closely. Their eyes dart through the crowd, sweep the hallway, scan every corner of the room like a silent radar. And then, there it is. The moment they spot you, something shifts. Their shoulders drop, the tension in their face eases, and that flicker, barely perceptible but unmistakable, lights up in their eyes. That spark says it all. There you are. It's not just affection. It's not just attraction. It's emotional dependence blooming under the surface, raw and unfiltered. This isn't some dramatic Hollywood romance trope. It's neuroscience. Old Stoic wisdom teaches us that a man must recognize the subtle movements of others if he wishes to stay grounded, and what you're seeing here is the dopamine system at work. The brain has identified you as the source of emotional reward. The eyes are simply obeying a primal command. Find what soothes you. This behavior isn't calculated. It leaks out, like steam from a sealed kettle. You can't fake that kind of reaction. When someone's feelings begin spiraling beyond their control, your presence becomes a kind of emotional gravity. Neutrality disappears. You are no longer just someone in the room. You're a symbol, a trigger, a source of comfort or tension, maybe both. That's the power of the connection forming. And when that connection overwhelms reason, when it dominates thought and anchors their mood, that's when Old Stoic wisdom urges us to pause and observe, not to react with ego or assumption, but to notice what is being silently confessed. Think about it. If someone seems on edge until they see you, if they keep tabs on where you are even in a crowded space, if their energy visibly shifts once they've made eye contact, that's no accident. That's emotional attachment revealing itself through the oldest, most honest form of human communication, the eyes. Because when the heart is flooded, when it can't quite shape the words, the eyes will scream. And they don't lie. Don't mistake this for flattery. Be sharp, be still. Because what you're seeing isn't a compliment. It's a warning flag that feelings are tipping past logic. Old Stoic wisdom, the kind that forged iron minds and steady hands, reminds us that when emotion starts leading the eyes, reason starts lagging behind. You must be the one to keep your footing when theirs begins to slip. That is the way of Stoic principles, to remain anchored when others drift, to see clearly when others blur. So if you catch someone constantly scanning for you, easing when you're near, tightening when you're not, don't dismiss it. Don't romanticize it. Observe it. Understand it for what it is. A human being slipping into emotional addiction. Eyes betray what mouths conceal. The next time you feel watched, remember this. Your presence has become a fix, an emotional balm, and the moment you leave their line of sight, the tension returns. That isn't love. That's dependence masquerading in a glance. Stay sharp. Stay sovereign. Iron mind, steady eye. That's Stoic living. 2. Emotional overreactions, jealousy, irritation, or giddiness. Let's not beat around the bush. When a person's feelings for you go haywire, their emotions become a circus. Not the fun kind with cotton candy and clowns. We're talking jealousy without cause, irritation without reason, and giddy outbursts over things that don't even make sense. You say hi to a stranger, and suddenly they act like you've betrayed a sacred oath. You mention someone's name, just a name, and their jaw tightens like a vice. You send a kind message and boom, they light up like they hit the jackpot. Now ask yourself this: are they reacting to what's happening, or are they reacting to you? Here's the truth. When someone starts responding like this, their emotional thermostat is busted. Their nervous system is on edge. They're not seeing reality, they're seeing you as something more, something intense. And every little thing you do triggers something big inside them. That's no accident. It's a signal, a red flare in the sky. Their emotional regulation, what the Old Stoic masters called control of passions, is slipping. They're no longer governed by Stoic principles, but by stormy feelings that twist every moment into something personal. Let's break this down. Jealousy? That's not love, it's fear wearing cologne, a fear of losing what they think they own. Irritation? That's not affection, it's the ego reacting when it feels too vulnerable. Giddiness? That's not happiness, it's an emotional high they get from your attention, and like all highs, it's unstable. This isn't romance. This is obsession dressed up as devotion, and if you're not careful, it'll sweep you into their drama before you know it. Don't mistake volatility for passion. Old Stoic wisdom teaches us to remain calm in the storm, not to become the storm itself. Marcus Aurelius didn't spend his evenings wondering why someone didn't text back fast enough. Seneca didn't crumble because someone smiled at someone else. These men followed Stoic rules to stay grounded, not enslaved to their emotions. When someone becomes emotionally volatile around you, and only you, that's not flattery. That's a warning. You're no longer a person, you're a symbol. And that kind of attachment? It's unstable. It breaks the balance that Stoic principles were built to preserve. Be vigilant. Be honest with yourself. If their emotions go haywire every time you're around, that's not love. It's dependence. And dependence is the enemy of freedom. You must not enable this. Don't feed their spirals. Don't coddle the behavior. Set boundaries. Speak plainly. Watch how they react. If your silence feels like a storm to them, it's because their world now orbits around you, and that's dangerous for both of you. Real connection isn't about chaos. It's about peace, about presence, about mutual strength, not emotional collapse. So if you see the signs, sudden jealousy, out of nowhere irritation, or too much delight over a simple smile, don't ignore them. Remember the Stoic rules. Stay anchored. Stay clear. Stay calm. Because when feelings become unmoored, someone has to be the steady hand on the rudder. Let that someone be you. Stick with me, because this is just the beginning. We're moving forward with even more powerful tactics to leave a lasting impact on their minds. Get ready for the next move, one that deepens their connection to you in ways they can't ignore. If you are ready, comment, let's go. Let's move forward. 3. They mirror you without realizing it. When someone's feelings for you are out of control, they can show themselves in subtle yet undeniable ways. One of these signs is mirroring. Watch closely. If you find that they start to speak like you, sit like you, use your expressions, or mimic your gestures, don't dismiss it. This is not by chance. It's called mirroring, and in psychology, it's considered one of the most intimate signs of emotional connection. When someone's feelings are intense, their subconscious mind instinctively imitates the person they are drawn to. This isn't manipulation. It's an emotional bond that forms at a deeper, unspoken level. The brain says, I want to belong with you. I want to sync with your rhythm. I feel safe when I'm like you. It's not about admiration. It's about becoming emotionally one. They might cross their legs right after you do, or laugh in the same way. These actions are quiet but powerful. They don't even realize they're doing it. Because it's a subconscious attempt to feel closer to you. In a world full of distractions, where words often fall short, the body speaks when the heart is fully invested. You'll know their feelings are out of control when they mirror your every move, unintentionally and intimately. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Mirroring shows an emotional desire to bond deeply. The mirror reflects not just the body, but the spirit. Another sign that their feelings are getting the better of them is how they ask personal questions, but with reluctance when it's their turn to answer. When someone is overwhelmed by their feelings, they crave connection, but vulnerability is a frightening thing. They'll probe deep into your life, your thoughts, your dreams, but when you reciprocate, they freeze, deflect, or give only vague answers. Why? It's simple, asking if you feel safe. It allows them to draw closer to you without risking exposure of their own emotional depth. But the moment they're asked to reveal their own truths, it becomes too much. It's not about mistrust, it's fear. They're already so wrapped up in their feelings that the thought of revealing too much could feel like a loss of control. This is a defense mechanism. They want to know if you care the same way, but they're terrified that one wrong word, one slip, might let the floodgates open, exposing their vulnerable side. This is why, when someone dives deep into your world but keeps their own hidden, it's not a sign of distance. It's a sign that their feelings are already so intense that they're holding themselves back to protect their own heart. Remember what Epictetus taught. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you face such vulnerability, recognize that it's not about you. It's about their internal battle. In modern life, people often hide behind facades of strength and control. But emotions don't lie. When someone mirrors you, or when they shy away from revealing their own depths, they are silently telling you that their feelings for you are intense, raw, and not easily managed. Stoicism teaches us that we must be masters of our own emotions, to understand and control them before they control us. Yet, when someone is overwhelmed by feelings for you, they will mirror, they will shy away, and they will show signs of emotional turmoil that reflect an intense connection. Recognize these signs for what they are, indicators of someone who is grappling with feelings that they may not yet know how to control. Let them be a guide for you in navigating these complex emotional waters. You must be steady, grounded, and wise like the Stoics. Do not be fooled by the surface. The depth is where true connections are made, where emotions go beyond control, and where victory in relationships can be won. In moments like these, you have the opportunity to lead with wisdom and emotional strength. Recognize the signs, stay grounded, and let the connection deepen, while also protecting your own inner peace. Stoicism win. 4. They ask deep personal questions, but struggle to answer themselves. When someone's feelings for you are overwhelming, they often find themselves caught between two forces, an intense desire to connect and a deep fear of vulnerability. In such moments, their emotions are so strong that they want to know everything about you, yet they can't seem to open up about themselves. You'll notice them probing with deep, personal questions, eager to understand your world, but when the roles are reversed and you ask them the same, they retreat. They'll become vague, deflecting with a quick change of topic, or maybe even remain silent, hesitant to share anything too revealing. Why? Because for them, asking about you feels like a safe way to bridge the gap. It offers them a semblance of closeness without having to expose their own heart. But to open up about themselves, that's far too risky. They fear that the moment they let down their guard, they'll reveal something that could leave them vulnerable, something that might just lay bare the depth of their feelings for you. This is where the wisdom of old Stoic principles offers clarity. The Stoics believed in the power of self-mastery, of knowing one's own heart and mind so well that no external force could disrupt one's inner peace. But here, you see someone caught between the desire to connect and the fear of showing their true emotions. It's a paradox, and the Stoics would remind us that this inner turmoil comes from a lack of control over one's emotions. They're essentially trying to protect themselves from the very thing that could bring them closer to you. openness. Instead of embracing vulnerability, they retreat into a psychological deflection. It's not that they don't trust you. On the contrary, they trust you enough to want to get close, yet the fear of exposure makes them defensive. The old Stoic wisdom teaches us to confront these fears head-on, to be unafraid of vulnerability, and to embrace openness as a path to strength, not weakness. But in this case, their emotional state, riding the wave of unbridled passion, is clouding their judgment. They're afraid that revealing their true feelings might expose them too much, too quickly. This fear is rooted in an iron mind that is too afraid of cracking under the weight of emotional honesty. In these moments, it's crucial to understand that their reluctance to answer might not be about you or your worth. Rather, it's about their inner struggle to manage emotions that are far more intense than they can control. It's a battle of the mind, to keep their iron will intact or to let their feelings spill out. The Stoic would tell us that mastering one's own emotions is the key to clarity in these situations. So when someone constantly asks about you but offers little about themselves, don't take it as a sign of distrust. Understand that their feelings are already so deep, so overwhelming, that they are afraid of revealing too much. The iron mind, which the Stoics so often revered, requires the courage to face our own vulnerabilities. That's why it's vital to recognize this sign not as a lack of affection, but as an indication that their emotions have already reached a point of intensity that they can no longer easily control. It's a powerful reminder of the Stoic principles, to face one's emotions with honesty, not fear, and to accept vulnerability as a strength, not a weakness. If you find yourself in this situation, be patient, but also be aware that the deeper they dive into your world without reciprocating, the stronger their feelings might actually be. They're just trying to protect their heart, something even the most disciplined iron mind can sometimes struggle with when the stakes are so high. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting "very interesting" in the comments section. That is a huge motivation for us. Thank you. 5. Their mood shifts based on your behavior. Don't ignore the subtle shifts in their emotional state. Pay attention. When you smile, do they light up? When you distance yourself, do they shut down? When you're quiet, do they become anxious? These aren't just simple mood changes, they're signals. Red flags that tell you their emotional well-being is dangerously tethered to your actions. When someone's feelings are out of control, their mood becomes directly connected to yours. Every glance, every word, every gesture carries weight. Your behavior is no longer just about you. It's about them too. Their peace, their calm, their emotional stability. It's no longer their own. It's in your hands. And the truth is, this isn't healthy. This isn't love. It's dependence. Old Stoic wisdom teaches us that we must not let our emotions be ruled by the actions of others. It's about cultivating inner peace, not riding the emotional roller coaster based on the whims of the world around us. When someone lets their emotional state fluctuate like this, it reflects a lack of control, a lack of balance in their own life. As the Stoic rules remind us, what we control is our own mind, our own actions, and our own responses, not those of others. But here's the thing. This is not your fault. You are not the one stirring the emotional storm in them. But when someone's heart hands over the reins, they give you the power to steer their emotions, and it becomes exhausting, both for you and for them. Their highs become euphoric and exaggerated. A simple compliment can send them over the moon. But their lows? They can be devastatingly deep. A harmless joke or an offhand comment might wound them deeply. Their emotional world, it seems, revolves around your actions. This isn't about you. It's about their inability to maintain balance and perspective. They've lost touch with the Stoic principle of controlling their own emotions. Instead of being resilient, they've allowed their happiness and peace to depend entirely on you. Be aware. Be mindful of how your actions influence their mood, but also recognize that this dependency isn't something you can fix. You cannot take on the responsibility of another person's emotional stability. You must maintain your boundaries. The Old Stoic teaches us the only thing truly in your control is your own response. And when you allow someone else to control your emotional state, you're surrendering that power. So what can you do about it? First, understand that this dynamic isn't healthy. You cannot be the constant source of validation, approval, or emotional calm for someone else. It's a setup for disappointment, for both of you. It's time to introduce the Stoic principle of emotional independence. Your peace must come from within. It must be unshakable, untouchable by the external world, including the emotional state of others. Second, be mindful of their reactions, but don't internalize them. Their emotional state is their responsibility. Your actions might trigger their mood swings, but it's up to them to regulate their own feelings. They must do the work of finding balance, not you. That is the essence of Stoic philosophy, emotional independence. The Old Stoic wisdom calls us to cultivate resilience and inner calm so that we are not swayed by the chaos around us. Your peace should not be at the mercy of another's emotional instability. In the end, it's not about rejecting them or their feelings. It's about showing them that they too must learn the Stoic rules of self-control, that they must find their own emotional stability, just as you do. Their moods should no longer be at the mercy of your behaviour. You must be the one to teach them, not through words, but through your own steadfast example of emotional independence. 6. They remember the smallest details about you. When someone truly cares about you, they don't just remember the big things. They remember the small details that make you who you are. You casually mention your favourite song in passing, and weeks later, they bring it up as if it's still fresh on their mind. You briefly mention your coffee order, and without a second thought, they recall it with precision. The pet's name, the random story about your high school days, they never forget. To the casual observer, these might seem like small acts of attentiveness, but this goes much deeper. When someone remembers every little detail about you, it's not just about keeping track of what you like or dislike. It's about emotional significance. You, in their mind, have become an essential part of their universe. These aren't just observations. This is their brain prioritizing you, something far beyond simple interest or affection. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." They aren't trying to impress you with these seemingly small gestures. They are responding to an emotional reaction that's been triggered deep within them. This isn't merely attraction. It's an obsession dressed in the form of admiration. When they remember these small details, it shows that you occupy a place of deep emotional importance in their life. They are placing you at the center of their world, and this level of focus doesn't come from a casual desire. It stems from deep emotional involvement. Think of it as being under the lens of someone's constant attention. You are not just another person they've met. You are significant. You are unforgettable. Their behavior reflects an emotional commitment to you that goes far beyond the normal bounds of casual interest. This doesn't mean they are infatuated in a shallow sense. Rather, it's an obsessive, passionate attention to the details of who you are and what you mean to them. This kind of devotion is the hallmark of a person whose feelings have gone beyond typical affection. It's not just about keeping up with the facts about you, it's about them emotionally investing in you. As Epictetus would argue, true control comes not from the world around us, but from how we choose to respond to it. And when someone responds to their feelings by remembering everything about you, it's because they can't help but do so. Their emotions have taken full control, and you are now the epicenter of their emotional world. This attention to detail is often seen in great personal relationships, where the commitment runs deep. In today's world, this might feel rare, even fleeting, but when someone remembers everything about you, it's not a coincidence. It's a deliberate and powerful sign of deep affection. Don't ignore this. When someone's feelings are so deep that they remember the smallest things about you, it means they are invested in you in a way few others can understand. In a world full of distractions, this kind of dedication speaks volumes. This is a signal that you've won a place in their heart that few will ever occupy. Don't take it lightly. Instead, recognize it for what it is, pure emotional commitment. You must learn to value it, for this attention to detail is not just about affection, it is a reflection of their emotional priority. It's a deep-seated love, one that doesn't just desire to be seen, but to see every part of you. And in this seeing, they have found a kind of joy that only comes from full emotional engagement. You must learn to navigate this emotional commitment with the same stoic wisdom that leads to personal victory. You must, like the Stoics, control your response, even when faced with such overwhelming devotion. Remember, in the words of Epictetus, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In this case, their want is not just to know you, but to know every detail about you, and in doing so, they have revealed their feelings for you are out of control in the most powerful, uncontrollable way. Their emotional commitment has eclipsed everything else. If you choose to engage with this person, do so with the awareness that their obsession is now your reality. It's not about seeking validation. It's about recognizing this powerful emotional investment. When you understand that, you gain the clarity and control that Epictetus speaks of, and you can decide how to respond, wisely, stoically, and in control. The Stoic path to victory is to recognize emotional forces for what they are, and choose your actions accordingly. When someone remembers everything about you, you've reached a point where their feelings for you have taken over. And in this, you must be the master of your own emotions. You must control your response, for that is where your true victory lies. If you found this insight valuable, like this post, comment your thoughts, and share it with someone who could benefit from this wisdom. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep wisdom on relationships. And let's comment to remember, every action you take must come from a place of strength and authenticity. 7. They struggle to maintain eye contact or can't look away. Don't overlook the power of a gaze. When they glance away nervously or hold your stare for just a little too long, it's not just a habit, it's a window into their emotional world. The truth is, eye contact isn't just a simple physical act. It's a dance between vulnerability and an unrelenting desire to connect. When someone looks away, it's an instinctual way of protecting themselves, shielding their emotions. On the other hand, when they stare too intently, it can almost feel like a desperate plea to bridge the emotional gap, to say everything they can't put into words. This is the paradox of eye contact, a phenomenon often described by psychologists as the silent battle between exposure and closeness. Neither of these extremes is accidental. They reveal something deeper, something overwhelming, a storm of emotions they're trying to keep in check. If you catch them darting their eyes away, don't mistake it for disinterest. Know that it's their heart silently saying, "I'm not ready to share this yet, but I can't help but feel it." And if their gaze lingers a little too long, it's not just curiosity. It's the silent intensity of someone who's trying to communicate without words. Remember, even in the absence of spoken language, our eyes carry our deepest desires, fears, and confessions. So, the next time you notice that fleeting glance or that long-held stare, understand, their eyes are a reflection of what their heart desperately wants to convey, but can't find the courage to say out loud. This is where Old Stoic wisdom offers us clarity. The Stoic principles of emotional control and the iron mind teach us that while it's natural to feel overwhelmed by emotions, true strength lies in mastering them. But even those who follow the Stoic way can be swept away by their feelings at times, and eye contact can often betray them. So when you see someone struggling with that gaze, know that it's a signal of emotional conflict, one that even the most stoically composed can't always hide. 8. They offer unnecessary help or sacrifice their comfort. Do they go out of their way to assist you? Do they take on tasks they loathe or adjust their entire schedule just to be by your side? This isn't just kindness, it's silent devotion. You see, when someone's feelings become all-consuming, helping takes on a deeper meaning. It's no longer about doing something nice, it's about creating a bond, a connection that transcends the need for words. They might not utter a single phrase to express their love or affection, but their actions speak louder than any sweet nothings ever could. In this world, we often hear people say, "I'll do anything for you." But when these actions come with a sacrifice of their own comfort or well-being, you know something profound is happening beneath the surface. In the Stoic world, there is a rule that guides us. Be careful of emotional attachments that lead to a loss of control. The Stoics, with their quiet wisdom, recognize that when someone starts to lose themselves in another, their own well-being tends to slip away unnoticed. This is where imbalance creeps in. Their help becomes an extension of their emotional need to stay connected, to maintain a bond that is increasingly out of their control. Why does this happen? It's simple. Human beings, when overwhelmed by emotion, often seek meaning through being needed. The Stoic principles teach us that meaning is something we create within ourselves, not through dependency on others. Yet, when feelings of affection grow too intense, people often seek out a sense of purpose by becoming indispensable to someone else. They find their worth in being the helper, the fixer, the person who can be counted on no matter the cost. But let's be clear here. This is not a healthy way to show love. This sacrifice, while it may feel noble, actually points to a loss of self-control and boundaries. When self-care is put on the back burner and the needs of the other person are consistently placed in front, something has gone awry. This is not love. This is an obsession. And yet people fall into this trap all the time. They become fixated on proving their love by sacrificing too much of their own comfort. They rearrange their lives to accommodate another, even if it means their own happiness is the price. They may even find themselves giving up their peace of mind, all in the name of keeping the connection alive. But this isn't love. It's a cycle of emotional dependency, a silent spiral toward losing themselves. What's the solution? The Stoic principles advise us to remain grounded in self-control. You must maintain your sense of self while nurturing connections. Don't lose sight of who you are. Be mindful of your boundaries. Recognize that love is not about losing yourself, but about being able to stand as your own person while still offering your love and support. That is why, when you see someone offering help at their own expense, and at the expense of their own well-being, you need to pause and think, is this love, or is this a loss of control? Don't be fooled. Silent devotion might seem like love, but if it costs someone their peace of mind or their happiness, it's a sign that something deeper is happening, something that the old Stoic teachings would recognize as emotional imbalance. True love doesn't come at the cost of your peace. It's about building a connection that lifts both people, not just one. When someone sacrifices their own comfort repeatedly, they are not in control. The Stoic rules would guide them back to a path of balance and self-respect. Only then can love truly thrive, without the need for unnecessary sacrifices, without the unhealthy dependence that diminishes one's sense of self. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us. Or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. 9. They get nervous or awkward around you. You'll see it. Hands fidgeting, voices cracking, stuttering over words. This isn't simple shyness. No, it's emotional overload. Their brain is short-circuiting. Their heart races like a war drum in their chest. This person is not weak. They are overwhelmed by something far stronger. Their feelings for you. Their body reacts as if it's in immediate danger, not because they fear harm, but because you matter so deeply to them. Their emotions are so intense, they can't contain them any longer. This, my friend, is the raw, uncontrollable power of genuine affection. It's not embarrassment. It's something far more profound. In the teachings of Epictetus, we learn that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. When someone is emotionally invested in you, their wants and desires for connection overwhelm them. It's not about weakness. It's about an inner storm they cannot calm. Their actions speak louder than words. The pressure is too much. This is when Stoicism comes in. Recognize the power behind the nervousness. The Stoic approach tells us to acknowledge emotion without being ruled by it. This doesn't mean you should feel sorry for them. On the contrary, you must understand the strength it takes to even show such vulnerability. Their awkwardness is a sign of deep, sincere connection. They are fighting their inner turmoil in front of you, trying to hold on to control. What are you going to do with that? You can't ignore it. You must confront it head on. Recognize that the emotions they are struggling to express are more than just fleeting feelings. They're a force that can't be easily contained. Just like Epictetus teaches, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is your opportunity. This is the moment to take charge. Guide them, don't back down. Master the situation. If you understand the depth of their emotions, you can wield them like a weapon. And in this battle, your own control is the ultimate victory. Remember, their awkwardness is not a flaw. It is a sign of their emotional power, their love, their attraction, their respect. Harness this moment. Let it propel you forward. Because when you recognize these signs, when you see the emotional weight they carry for you, you're one step closer to mastering the art of connection. You're embodying the principles of Stoicism to win. It's not enough to acknowledge feelings. You must act on them. You must be decisive. You must win this moment and win in life. 10. They prioritize you above everything, even themselves. This is the clearest, most intense indicator of a love that's spiraling out of control. When someone starts to cancel plans, rearrange their entire life, and, most alarmingly, put your needs ahead of their own, it's no longer just affection. It's obsession. Friends, work, even their own well-being becomes secondary to you. And while devotion can be a beautiful thing, when it reaches this level of self-sacrifice, it's a red flag. Their identity begins to merge with yours, and they start living in your world. They've lost sight of their own peace because they've handed it over to you. The love they feel is so intense, so overwhelming, that their sense of self has blurred. You've become their entire universe, but don't be fooled by the grand gestures or the emotional warmth that seems to glow from their every action. This kind of love isn't stable. It's a wildfire, ready to burn out of control. At its core, this level of emotional surrender violates the iron mind of the Stoic principles. The Stoics understood the importance of self-control, balance, and mental clarity. No matter how deep a love may run, the old Stoic wisdom tells us that no one should lose their sense of self in the process. A true Stoic will never sacrifice their own well-being or sense of purpose for another person. You must remember this. Love isn't about erasing your individuality, it's about complementing it. When someone gives up their peace for yours, they're no longer playing the game of love, they're drowning in it. Recognize the difference and do not let yourself get swept away. With the right mindset, grounded in the Stoic principles of balance and inner strength, you can see through the haze of emotional storms and understand when feelings are no longer healthy. A strong relationship should elevate both parties, not diminish one for the other. Hey there, thank you so much for watching. Emotions this intense can be beautiful, but also overwhelming. Awareness is the first step toward clarity, compassion, and emotional safety for both of you. So, if you recognize these signs in someone close to you, or maybe even in yourself, pause, reflect, communicate, protect your emotional well-being. And if this video helped you see things in a new light, please like, share, and subscribe. Understanding the hidden language of the heart isn't just fascinating, it can change how we connect, love, and heal.